I've got these hands on you. This mouth will chew as well. Like butterflies inside you. Perfume what you sell. I know that I'm reaching that churning, burning heart. I see the sweat is beating from where I peel apart. So hypothetical, so hypothetical. So hypothetical. You got the hands to be tied, slip out from skin so cold. I've got the faults to be blind. Let's see what you like most. I cannot break the fever, the pounding of your soul. My little love deceiver, you make me lose control. Don't know what I'm gonna do. So hypothetical, so hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So bitches. I've got these hands on you. This mouth will chew as well. Like butterflies inside you. Perfume what you sell. I know that I'm reaching that churning, burning heart. I see the sweat is beating from where I peel apart. don't know what I'm gonna do. So hypothetical, so hypothetical. Hypothetical. So hypothetical. You got the hands to reach out, step out from skin so cold. I've got the force to be blind. Let's see what you like most. I cannot break the fever, the pounding of your soul. My little love deceiver, you make me lose control. Don't know what I'm gonna do. So hypothetical, so hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So
Hi, thanks for joining my stream. It's called The Chaotic Mind. I'm going to be talking a little bit about another self-published, well, right now it's an ebook that I wrote called The Chaotic Ghost, and published it last month. You can find that at autumnleesnews.com. I'm going to actually show you here how you can read it and download it from my website. Okay, let me add that there. Okay, so if you visit autumnleesnews.com, I mentioned on Friday's Full Blown Friday radio show that where you could find Two Suns in the Sunset. I'll probably be, I'm just going to go ahead and keep that up there for a little bit longer. So if you're scrolling the site and you start at the main page, you go down past the headline news, past the news briefs, past the Meet the Queen location clues, past the worldwide weather table, past the extra navigation links, past the American Nightmare Misfits Spotify song, and then you'll find some of my self-published books. So Two Suns in the Sunset is now an actual published book. So eventually I'm going to be deleting that ebook, but I'll leave it up there for maybe another week so you can download it if you want to for free, or just read it there if you'd like. Below that is The Descent of Jim Cartwright, which is another ebook that I actually pulled from a blog, like a Choose Your Own Adventure blog, Anna Merriam. The link to that is right there. I'll talk about that another time. But today I'm going to be talking about the chaotic ghost, which is an interpretation of egoism. You can download that for free. Eventually, that's going to be self-published as well as a book that, like Two Suns in the Sunset. But if you want to download it for free, you can't. So right now, it's just a 9-page kind of essay type book that goes into it. Basically, the chaotic ghost is an interpretation of egoism in relation to chaos magic, spirituality, religion, and our culture. Now, a lot of times egoism can be mistaken for Satanism. I wanted to clear up what I mean by egoism and where I plan on taking this sort of theory. While some aspects of occult religions and spiritual beliefs might be touched on, and this is in no way satanic or worshiping any sort of evil. Egoism is essentially atheism, the way I refer to it. Any mention I might make to anything satanic would be more in reference of people that not like LaVeyan Satanism. I'm not referring to it that way. That's a complete that's like the actual what Satanism actually should be, how it should be viewed is LaVeyan Satanism. But there's different ways that people view it. I don't go anywhere there. I don't. I've studied LaVeyan Satanism, but that's not what I do. I am an Anabaptist progressive Mennonite Christian. That is what I was baptized as. So that is my anchor in Christianity, but I am a chaos magician, which is why I'm kind of starting this sort of, I don't know if it's going to be like a book series or how I'm going to do this. But I kind of want to explain to people exactly what it is that I mean, because there are many, I guess, allusions to, things that might seem a little nefarious, but I don't take it to that place. I don't study people that do. I have read about certain ritualistic type of things where people, do crazy things, and that's not something that I'm willing to experiment with, nor would I advise anybody watching this stream or reading The Chaotic Ghost to do. So having said that, I'd like to move forward. Basically, this goes into just a little bit of how I define the egoist, which an egoist is basically any human being with an ego. Every human being has an ego, and this kind of goes into how I'm defining what an egoist is. You can read about that here and then go into a little more about egoism and how you practice being an egoist. Again, some people like to draw parallels to other things, but that's not what I'm doing here. So if that's where you want to take it, then you may not want to watch this stream, because this is not Satanism at all. This is chaos magic. This is egoism that I'm talking about here. So, and I'm just going to read this really short paragraph here about egoism. What is the practice of egoism? The practice of egoism is a system of ethics treating self-interest as the basis of any moral compass. This is why intent is a defining characteristic of any egoist. If an egoist is someone lacking empathy, it is likely they will base their moral compass on taking actions that benefit them to the exclusion of all others. And these actions could include violence, torture, and other psychologically depraved horrors. Egoism allows for the human mind to rationalize otherwise immoral behavior so long as it serves the egoist. So, and we're not going to really talk about chaos magic. I kind of just want to go into egoism. The name of this stream is The Chaotic Mind. So I'm going to be talking about egoism. Egoism starts obviously in the human mind. It's the human ego. It's what you think of yourself. It's how you feel, how you perceive the world. Your ego, basically, how inflated it can be or how deflated it can be. Egoism is essentially the practice of being an atheist. There are people who believe in God, and then there are people who don't. There are people who believe that they are essentially what we would refer to as God. And those people are atheists. Atheists are people who don't believe in a higher power. They believe more in scientific theories and facts. So egoism is basically, it starts in the concept of atheism, not Satanism. So I want to make that clear. Egoism is the concept of atheism. So if somebody's an atheist, they're essentially an egoist. As you go into, like, going back a little bit in the very first part of the Chaotic Ghost, it goes into like the type of egoists that people can be. If somebody is consciously aware that they are living as an egoist, it's very likely, if they refer to themselves as an egoist, it's very likely that they do practice some form of black magic, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a Satanist, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they practice anything satanic. It just means that they are an egoist. So the way I'm defining egoism might be different than the way you've seen it defined in other readings, other literature. I want to make that clear. But yeah, this is the first of a little more detail into what my personal faith is as a chaos magician. I'd also like to find a video. I should have done this earlier, but I did not. Let's see. So I'm going to try to find a video here really quick that goes into a little more detail. I think a lot of the reason why people consider this type of thing to be satanic is because some of the people that have practiced chaos magic in the past were Satanists. I'm not. So, all right. This is Aleister Crowley, probably the most infamous or famous, however you want to refer to him, chaos magician.
Keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to.
I'm a poet, and I like my lies the way my mother used to make them. One would go mad if one took the Bible seriously, but to take it seriously, one must be already mad. May the new year bring you courage to break your resolutions early. My own plan is to swear off every kind of virtue so that I triumph even when I fall. I slept with Faith and found a corpse in my arms on awakening. I drank and danced all night with Doubt and found her a virgin in the morning. Having to talk destroys the symphony of silence. The sin which is unpardonable is knowingly and willfully to reject truth, to fear knowledge, lest the knowledge pander not to your prejudices. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. Ordinary morality is for ordinary people. Science is always discovering odd scraps of magical wisdom and making a tremendous fuss about its cleverness. Every man and every woman is a star. I hardly ever talk. Words seem such a waste, and they are none of them true. No one has yet invented a language from my point of view. I've written this to keep from crying, but I am crying, only the tears won't come. The way of mastery is to break all the rules, but you have to know them perfectly before you can do this. Otherwise, you are not in a position to transcend them. I've often thought that there isn't any I at all, that we are simply the means of expression of something else, that when we think we are ourselves, we are simply victims of a delusion. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. It is the mark of the mind untrained to take its own process as valid for all men, and its own judgments for absolute truth. Love is the law. Love under will. It is necessary in this world to be made of harder stuff than one's environment. Paganism is wholesome because it faces the facts of life. For pure will, unassuaged of purpose, delivered from the lust of result, is every way perfect. Modern morality and manners suppress all natural instincts, keep people ignorant of the facts of nature, and make them fighting drunk on boogie tales. Balance every thought with its opposition, because the marriage of them is the destruction of illusion. We must conquer life by living it to the full, and then we can go to meet death with a certain prestige. Truth, 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 crieth the Lord of the abyss of hallucinations. Some men are born sodomites, some achieve sodomy, and some have sodomy thrust upon them. The most delicious sensation of all is the rebirth of healthy human love, spring coming back to earth. I was not content to believe in a personal devil and serve him, in the ordinary sense of the word. I wanted to get a hold of him personally and become his chief of staff. To read a newspaper is to refrain from reading something worthwhile. The first discipline of education must therefore be to refuse resolutely to feed the mind with canned chatter. The ordinary man looking at a mountain is like an illiterate person confronted with a Greek manuscript. Your friends will notice at once that glib faculties fail to impress, and hate you and tell lies about you, but it's worth it. Indubitably, magic is one of the subtlest and most difficult of the sciences and arts. There is more opportunity for errors of comprehension, judgment, and practice than in any other branch of physics. In the absence of willpower, the most complete collection of virtues and talents is wholly worthless. Don't talk for 5 minutes. I have a strange feeling cover over me, almost as if I were going to think. I am the blue-lidded daughter of sunset. I am the naked brilliance of the voluptuous night sky. This complaining, rambling rubbish is the substitute which is taking the place of love. Since all things are God, in all things thou seest just so much of God as your capacity affords you. The key of joy is disobedience. I can imagine myself on my deathbed, spent utterly with lust to touch the next world, like a boy asking for his first kiss from a woman. The man who denounces life merely defines himself as the man who is unequal to it. A man's friends are more capable of working him harm than strangers, and his greatest danger lies in his own habits. The more necessary anything appears to my mind, the most certain it is that I only assert a limitation. This is the night wherein I'm lost, the love through which I am no longer. A red rose absorbs all colors but red. Red is therefore the one color that it is not. Astrology has no more useful function than this: to discover the inmost nature of a man, and to bring it out in his consciousness, that he may fulfill it according to the law of light. Keep on acquiring a taste for what is naturally repugnant. This is an unfailing source of pleasure. A single ego is an absurdly narrow vantage point from which to view the world. The first condition of success in magic is purity of purpose. Chaos is peace. Blackness intolerable. Before the beginning of the light, this is the first verse of Genesis. Holy art thou, chaos, chaos, eternity, all contradictions in terms. The great work is the uniting of opposites. It may mean the uniting of the soul with God, of the microcosm with the macrocosm, of male with female, of ego with non-ego. Light illuminates the path of humanity. It is our own fault if we go over the brink. To resist and subdue nature is to make for oneself a personal and imperishable life. It is to break free from the vicissitudes of life and death. I do not think we were afraid of death. Life had become such an infinitely boring alternation between a period of stimulation, which failed to stimulate, and of depression, which hardly even depressed. Light, life, and love are like three glowworms at your feet, the whole universe of stars, the dewdrops on the grass whereon you walk. We are wholehearted extroverts. The penalty of restricting oneself is anything from neurosis to downright lunacy, in particular, melancholia. Stab your love and cocaine. The technical developments of almost every form of wealth, oil, minerals, are the forebearers of big business, and big business, directly or indirectly, is the immediate cause of war. It is as if the first diviner of absinthe had been indeed a magician, intent upon combination of sacred drugs which should cleanse, fortify, and perfume the human soul. Remember that existence, the sorrows we experience, are shadows. They pass and are done, but there is that which remains. Love, in a night, shall live and die. When we've all finished talking, there's something that never utters a word, but goes right down through the earth, plumb to the center. Must not understanding lie open to wisdom, as the pyramids lie open to the stars? For when all is equilibrated, when all is beheld from without all, there is joy, joy, joy that is but one facet of a diamond, every other facet whereof is more joyful than joy itself.
At a certain
So yeah, let's go back to this one really fast. I'm like updating autumnleafsnews.com. So just a quick second here. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I am gonna be putting it at the website. I'm updating my live page right now. So while I finish that up, let me find a follow-up video to that. So, okay, here we go. Something else I'm going to get into eventually is astral projection. I want to try to find something that explains kind of what it is.
stuff that we can't astral project and it's all a load of nonsense. So the ability.
Let me start this video over. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I had it on the Chaotic Ghost the whole time, so I'm starting this over.
All right, so in this video, I'm going to explain what astral projection is and how you can use it to do incredible things. So watch this whole video because I'm going to be explaining the exact definition of astral projection, why it's so incredible, and what it can be used for, and also who can actually do this. You know, can everyone do this, or is this just something that you just have to be sort of lucky or skilled in order to actually be able to astral project? So before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be posting weekly astral projection videos and tips, as well as a bunch of spirituality content and a whole load of other tips as well. So astral projection is essentially an intentional or an unintentional out-of-body experience where you actually leave your physical body and explore other realms with your astral body. Now, many people actually naturally experience astral projection or OBEs when they have what's called a near-death experience, and thousands of people, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of people, actually have these near-death experiences every single year and report this phenomenon of being out of their physical body, being able to see themselves from a different point of view, from above their physical body, from their astral body. Now, like I said, many people experience astral projection naturally when they are in a near-death experience, but of course you don't want to have to wait until then in order to actually astral project. So you can intentionally decide to have an astral projection experience or an OBE by following various techniques. So astral projection is based on the idea that multiple bodies exist within us and that the physical body is just one of these bodies. So this idea has been sort of hidden from us for many years, but if you look back in ancient history and amongst ancient civilizations, you can find that astral projection was very common and they used to do this fairly often. In fact, the ancient shamans and wise men used to do astral projection fairly regularly as a way of knowing things and sort of gaining wisdom, getting answers to questions and getting advice about what the tribe should do next. But then as civilization advanced, you know, these things were lost and we were programmed to believe that we can't actually do this stuff, that we can't astral project and it's all a load of nonsense. So the ability to separate the astral body from the physical body has sort of been lost over the years, but I'm going to explain in a couple of minutes how you can learn how to do that again and how to actually have astral projection regularly. But first, let's think about why you would actually want to learn how to astral project. Well, you can use astral projection to do incredible things like traveling through the astral realm, interacting with various realities, dimensions, and even entities that not all of them are actually human. So it's very safe. Anybody can learn this. It doesn't really matter how old you are. And in fact, the younger you are, the more likely it is that you'll have an easier time learning how to astral project because you've got less programming. You know, society has had less of a time and less of a chance to program you and convince you that this stuff is a load of nonsense. So the younger you are, the more open-minded you're usually going to be, and so the easier this will become for you. But that doesn't mean that if you are slightly older that you can't do this. So keep watching because I'm going to explain how you can do this and a few basic ideas behind astral projection in just a minute. So like I said, it's safe. Anybody can learn this. You can travel through time, through different dimensions. You can experience unbelievable things in the astral realm, but you can also learn a lot about yourself as well. And that includes things like your past lives, what your purpose is here on Earth. You can connect with other people in the astral realm, such as lost loved ones, lost family members, twin flames, or even your spirit guides to get guidance as to what you should do and to sort of help you along your journey. You can also do more practical things with an OBE, with astral projection, like practicing or preparing for things like sporting events, like public speaking, and more than that, you can completely remove the fear of death from yourself, from your mind. You can appreciate life in a brand new way. And the interesting thing is that many people who experience astral projection naturally, so I'm talking about near-death experiences here, they report having completely removed the fear of death from themselves. And they sort of look at life in a brand new way, where everything's possible, and they don't really have that fear of failure, that sort of nagging doubt that most people experience, that holds them back from living the life that they actually want to live. So, like I've explained, astral projection usually happens when you have a near-death experience, but it's very possible to have an intentional OBE, to decide to astral project, and then to actually have that experience on command. So I'm going to be posting a new video soon explaining how to astral project. So make sure to subscribe to the channel because you really don't want to miss this. I'm going to explain exactly how to astral project in simple steps. But for now, all you need to do is just focus on the following things. Every morning, meditate for 10 minutes. Try and eat as healthy a diet as you possibly can. The closer you can get to plant-based, the better, because this will raise your vibrations and your frequency. Try and drink lots of water throughout the day. And when you actually try and astral project, you want to try and do it between 3 and 6 a.m. So just bear in mind that it's going to take a bit of effort and it's going to require you to wake up early. So like I said, look out for the new video. It's going to be posted very soon. If you subscribe to this channel, you'll get notified. And I'd also love to hear what you think. So leave a comment below letting me know what you think about this. And as always, thanks for watching.
If you're interested in learning how to astral project, you can definitely. That's like the only video I've seen by him, so I like it. So I may subscribe to his content. But if you'd like to read about it, these are the books that, well, I'm reading this one first. I think I actually find, yeah, my pen's like I'm reading this one first. I've been studying this one for a while. Go. It's called Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce. So this is the second time that I'm going through it. Another one I have called Mastering Astral Projection, which is also by Robert Bruce and Brian Mercer. So I have not gotten into this yet, but this also comes with a DVD. So, I mean, it's an older book, but I mean, if you have a way to play a DVD, it might help you. I don't know, but this is, it's a 90-day, like it teaches you how to astrally project in 90 days. It's the claim. So regarding astral projection, if you want to learn more about that, you can, I'd recommend Robert Bruce. Robert Bruce is the author that I've been reading with regard to astral projection. With regard to chaos magic, different people define it differently. Obviously, it's something that involves quite a bit of research, knowledge about different religions, different ways of different rituals, different symbolism, what have you, in different religions. So it's not just one specific religion. It's not Satanism. It's not paganism. It's not witchcraft. It's not just one thing. It's a collection of different religions and different rituals combined into whatever the chaos magician designates it to be. We'll go into more detail about that later. I want to kind of get into this slowly because it's very complex. The last thing I'm going to share a video about here is, let's see. This is something that I think is kind of interesting, especially if you're interested in astral projection. Like, you don't necessarily have to be interested in being a chaos magician, but if you're interested in like astral projection and having out-of-body experiences, let's see, what is the astral plane? Something that he mentioned in the last video was the astral plane and people that you meet there. So that's something that I want to go into a little more detail about, and then I'll close up the stream, and we'll get into more of this later. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the astral plane. Actually, let's do this one. There's a couple of videos. Every spiritual plane, and then we'll do the astral plane. So we'll do this one first.
The earthly plane. This is the realm we know best, the physical world bound by time, space, and the laws of nature. It's where we live, where we love, where we struggle, and where we awaken. But in nearly every spiritual tradition, this world is just the beginning. It's not the final destination, but a kind of spiritual testing ground. In Hinduism, the earthly plane is called Maya, a realm of illusion that hides the true nature of reality. In Gnostic teachings, it's seen as a prison for the soul created by a false god to trap divine sparks in flesh. Meanwhile, in Kabbalah, the earth is known as Malkut, the kingdom, both the lowest point on the tree of life and the starting point for returning to the divine. Here, the soul is often caught in cycles of desire, fear, conflict, and rebirth, but it's also here that the greatest opportunity lies. Through pain, joy, and experience, the soul remembers its purpose and begins its journey upward. The earthly plane may be dense and chaotic, but it's also sacred because every higher realm must first be touched from here. Astral plane. This is a realm of energy, emotion, and imagination. Unlike the earthly plane, which is heavy and fixed, the astral is fluid, shifting with thought and intention. It's the space we visit in dreams, visions, and moments of deep meditation. Here, reality bends. Time is slippery, and consciousness begins to remember that it's more than just flesh. Across spiritual traditions, the astral plane is where spirits, guides, and disembodied souls reside. In theosophy and Western esotericism, it's the layer where out-of-body travel happens, astral projection. This plane acts like a mirror, reflecting the hidden desires, fears, and unresolved emotions of the soul. It's beautiful, chaotic, and deeply symbolic. For many mystics, crossing into the astral is the first real glimpse of the unseen world and the first test of how ready the soul is to move closer to truth. The etheric realm, this is the subtle layer just beyond the physical world, a bridge between the body and the soul. It mirrors our reality, but in a more fluid, luminous form. This is also a realm of life force, energy, and vibration. Everything here pulses with vitality, and every thought, movement, and intention leaves a visible trail in the energy field. In many esoteric traditions, the etheric body is what keeps our physical body alive. It channels prana, chi, or spiritual electricity through a network of unseen pathways. Mystics describe the etheric plane as a glowing replica of the material world, filled with shifting light, sacred geometry, and energetic structures. It's not quite spirit, not quite matter, something in between. In theosophy and certain occult schools, this realm is the base of the energetic ladder and the first step in learning to manipulate or sense the unseen. Here, healers work with energy. Here, auras shimmer, chakras spin, and the body begins to dissolve into its truest form, light in motion. The mental plane, this is where thought becomes reality. It's the realm of pure intellect, imagination, and intention, where ideas take form before they ever touch the physical world. If the etheric plane channels life force, the mental plane shapes it. Here, the soul is no longer bound by emotion or material limits. It begins to think, create, and understand. In many traditions, this plane is divided into two levels: the lower mental, which is tied to logic, reason, and personal thought, and the higher mental, which connects to universal truths, intuition, and archetypes. In Theosophy and Hermeticism, this is where the Akashic records are said to exist, a cosmic memory bank that holds the knowledge of all souls. On the mental plane, everything is made of thought essence. There's no spoken word here, just direct transmission of ideas, symbols, and concepts. This is where spiritual masters meditate, where divine blueprints are shaped, and where minds that have transcended ego begin to dwell. It's not just a place of thinking, it's the dimension where thinking becomes reality. The causal plane. This is the realm of divine memory, destiny, and the soul's higher blueprint. It's where cause and effect originate, not the kind we experience on Earth, but spiritual causes that ripple through lifetimes. This plane holds the deeper why behind the soul's journey. Everything that happens in the lower realms on the physical, etheric, astral, and mental planes begins here as a spark of intention or karmic momentum. In Hindu and Buddhist teachings, this realm is often linked to the Karana Sharira, the causal body, the vessel of accumulated karma. In Theosophy, it's where the higher self or soul consciousness resides. It's beyond thought and emotion. Here, the soul is simply aware. It doesn't think, it knows. Time in the causal plane doesn't flow in a straight line. Past, present, and future are seen as a single thread, woven into the soul's greater purpose. To reach the causal plane is to step outside of ego and identity and glimpse the soul as it truly is, eternal, radiant, and whole. The Empyrean. This is the highest heaven, the realm beyond realms. In ancient cosmology, it was believed to be the dwelling place of the divine, a realm of pure fire and light, untouched by time, space, or form. It is not just above, it is beyond the stars, beyond the heavens, beyond thought itself. In Christian mysticism, the Empyrean is where God resides, surrounded by choirs of angels, saints, and celestial beings. In Dante's Divine Comedy, it is the final destination of the soul, the moment when all longing ceases and the soul is consumed by divine love. It's not described with buildings or landscapes, but with light so pure it blinds even the imagination. The Empyrean is where truth is not learned, it's known. where love is not given, it simply is. It is the ultimate union, the divine source, the eternal now. No more planes to climb, no more veils to pierce, just infinite stillness and the unshakable sense of being one with everything. The Empyrean is not a place you reach, it's a light you become. Brahmaloka. This is the highest of the heavenly realms in Hindu cosmology, a realm of pure light, perfect knowledge, and eternal bliss. It is said to be the abode of Brahma, the creator, and Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom. But this isn't just a place, it's a state of consciousness where duality dissolves and the soul lives in harmony with universal truth. Unlike the lower realms where rebirth continues, Brahmaloka is a realm beyond karma. Souls that reach here are no longer caught in the cycles of death and rebirth. They dwell in radiant stillness, surrounded by other realized beings, absorbed in divine knowledge. For many, this is the final stop before merging with the Supreme, Brahman itself. In the Vedas and Upanishads, Brahmaloka is described as a realm so subtle and luminous that it cannot be seen with the physical eye. It's accessed through deep meditation, great virtue, or divine grace. Those who reside there are said to enjoy satya, truth, jnana, wisdom, and ananda, bliss, until the dissolution of the universe when they finally merge into the infinite. Naraka. This is the realm of punishment, purification, and karmic consequence in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. It is not eternal damnation, but a temporary domain where the soul experiences the results of its darkest actions. Unlike the Christian concept of hell, Naraka is not ruled by evil, it is overseen by Yama, the god of death and justice. Souls are sent here to confront their own deeds in realms that reflect specific karmic wrongs. From freezing wastelands to blazing infernos, each Naraka is a tailored experience designed not to destroy the soul, but to cleanse it. In Hindu texts like the Garuda Purana, there are 21 levels of Naraka, each with a name, a function, and a specific punishment. In Buddhist teachings, there are 8 hot and 8 cold Narakas, where pain and regret purify the soul until it's ready to begin again.
I was the first.
Okay, so there was that. That's every spiritual plane explained in 8 minutes. And the very last video that I wanted to show is the astral plane explained.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Ben. I'm a meditation and spiritual teacher. And in today's video, I wanted to talk you through the 3 levels of the astral plane. So a lot of people will have heard the term the astral plane. I've spoken about it quite a lot on this channel through experiences that come about in meditation and things like that. It's kind of nice to have an understanding of the astral plane. Obviously, at the moment, we're all experiencing life on the physical plane. We're all spiritual beings who have come to the physical plane to have a human experience and learn and develop and then return to the spiritual realm that we've come from. Some would call that God or the divine. There are many levels that we can kind of pass through or experience on the way there. When we're here in a physical body, at some point the physical body will pass away and we will move to the astral plane. But the astral plane is actually divided into 3 sections. There's what's known as the lower, and I'll explain what all of these mean, the middle, and the upper. And this is the astral plane. Now, there might be some of you listening to this now and thinking, bloody hell, he's talking a load of nonsense. I personally have had many experiences of accessing higher planes through meditation, and it's coupled with the teachings that a very advanced teacher shared with me as well. I've been fortunate enough to meditate since I was around 6 years old. So I've had lots of different experiences. So the soul will, when it's passed away, when the physical body dies, it will move up to one of these 3 planes in the astral plane, or one of these 3 zones, you could say, in the astral plane. Now, what determines which one you go into and what is the difference? So on the lower plane, this is typically where negative entities reside. Now, what are negative entities? People who are like, let's say, murderers, rapists, those types of people. And those types of people, because of their actions, because of the karma that they've accrued, will, by the law of attraction, accrue more of that. and they will find themselves in the lower astral, which sadly is not a nice place to be. And I've touched upon the lower astral in meditation before, and as I say, it's really not a nice place to be. You don't want to be there. So I do genuinely feel for people like that, but I guess you do need to have the understanding that people or beings that are in the lower astral are there based upon their own actions. So I think it's good to send love and compassion.
I want to pause this video just really quick because I wanted to touch on that lower level astral plane that he's talking about and the types of entities that you encounter there. Those are kind of like poltergeists. They would be like nefarious spirits. Like you said, murderers, you know, when they were alive, murderers, rapists, you know, lowlifes. So those in the lower level of the astral plane, that's going to be the type of spirits that you would typically associate with like haunted houses. Evil spirits, basically.
Compassion to anyone that might be in the lower astral plane, and hope that they change their ways and become nicer people. And when they come around the next time, when they have another human experience, hopefully they meet the right person, they have the right kind of circumstance that comes past them and enables.
The way he's explaining this, I have a slightly different interpretation of what actually happens to the human soul as it transitions from here, but I like this.
Them to change direction and improve themselves. But this is where people will typically experience, you know, seeing demons or seeing, as I say, negative entities and things like that.
Yeah.
The middle plane is for people who are not particularly spiritual, but equally not particularly bad people. They're just kind of what we would consider normal people. So you could say the masses. You could say like the general mass of people on the planet who aren't following any particular spiritual path. They're not really that way inclined at the moment, but equally don't do anything particularly bad or.
So he's touching on a few different theological concepts with this statement, with these statements that he's making. Taking religion out of it largely, if you were to insert religion or spirituality into what he's saying, you would essentially, what he's describing is essentially like the lower plane of existence would be like a purgatory. The middle plane would be like earthbound, like here, like a haunted hotel, for instance, like the Thin Veil at Hotel San Carlos in Phoenix, Arizona. That's like middle plane. I'm curious to see his definition of upper plane, but so far, if you were to like insert religion or spirituality and kind of what he's saying to, you know, make that link in your mind, you could potentially, like he said, demons are on that lower level, and then the middle level would be like earthbound spirits, people who were murdered, maybe committed suicide, died under suspicious circumstances, or died suddenly and don't realize that they have died. Anyway, I'm going to continue with this.
You know, they've not done anything that would bring them into the lower astral. That's where the kind of masses end up. This is the middle astral. And people who find themselves in the middle astral will also find lessons or be learning lessons on this plane. And they will also meet teachers who will assist them in their journey, even though they don't know they're on a spiritual journey. They obviously are, but they're not consciously on one yet. There will be teachers that will still be helping them to grow and develop on the astral plane and preparing them for their next incarnation, where they will hopefully expand a bit more and grow a bit more and maybe take to more of a spiritual path then. It just depends based on their free will and experience. So that's typically where I would say the masses end up. Now the upper is for advanced souls. Advanced souls, or developed souls, some people would say. Developed souls.
To me, my interpretation of the upper, that's your higher self. So you have yourself, which is like in the physical plane. And then he's referring to like the lower and middle. It sounds to me like he's encountering different types of spirits. But lower would be like he's saying negative. The middle. Now, if you're going to say the masses, that almost sounds like you're just. I'm curious to see how he completely defines the upper, but it sounds like the upper is your higher self. The middle is more the way I interpret it to be how he's describing middle is people who are actually still alive, because it is 100% entirely possible to have an out-of-body experience and encounter another living person who is also having an out-of-body experience. What he's talking about is encountering dead souls. He's talking about encountering people that have passed on, which is also possible.
People who have really committed to a spiritual path, who have not done things that are awful. This is typically where advanced beings will end up. And to supplement them, there will also be advanced teachers. There'll be advanced teachers, and they will also have lessons. They will learn more, continue their development, and they have, interestingly, the freedom to move, if they wanted to, between any of the three planes. Beings within the lower astral.
Now, nobody has 100% understanding of this, since it is kind of, I mean, science, pseudoscience. It really depends on what you read and what you apply, what theories you apply to astral projection, whether or not you think it's actual science or pseudoscience. But it's like he kind of goes, and these are probably catered to his personal experiences and things that he's read. But it's like he kind of goes between encountering dead souls and living souls, which is there really a way that you can differentiate between the two, unless you know for certain whether or not somebody's alive. But I also enjoy the way he describes the different levels of souls, because it's almost talking about, you know, if you were to encounter somebody like an earthbound spirit, for instance, say if you go to the Hotel San Carlos and you encounter the spirit of Leon Jensen, the way he's describing the different planes, different astral planes and different levels, she might be on the middle plane of that. So it's just kind of an interesting interpretation here.
They have no freedom, so they are constricted and refined just to, or confined, should I say, just to that lower plane. So that's the key difference, is that this is not a nice place to be. It's a smaller range, whereas these other planes are much nicer. They're very vivid, very clear, and you have the potential to move wherever you want to. And there are teachers that are kind of on par with you, or that are going to assist you in the next part of your journey, until you eventually reincarnate into another human body to go through more lessons and progress in that manner. So anyway, I hope the video has been helpful for you. If you're interested in being part of an online school, learning more about meditation and spirituality, I've got an online school. I'll leave a link in the description to it. It's called the Inner Journey School. You'd be more than welcome to join us there. But failing that, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so that was pretty good. I enjoyed watching that. Great explanation of the astral plane and kind of the different levels that you are able to access. However, regarding how he explained the first level of the astral plane, it's almost like he's accessing like something different, because when you're, it depends on what you're looking to do. I mean, if you want to astrally project and you want to talk to people that, you know, have been murdered, you can try to kind of cater that experience. It sounds like he's far more advanced in that, but it's a wonderful way to explain what the astral plane actually is. So the point of all this, and I just want to go over in kind of a nutshell everything that we've learned during this presentation. We've learned about egoism, its relation, egoism, atheism, chaos magic, astral projection, and the astral plane. But the way I'm defining egoism might be different than what you have come to know egoism to be defined as. So, and again, like with the astral plane, the way this gentleman describes the astral plane is slightly different than how Robert Bruce would describe it, but it is essentially the same thing. It's a plane of existence which is only accessible through your higher self or your spirit. The way he describes the upper is essentially your higher self. The middle would be like living people, and then lower would potentially be like, you know, demonic, poltergeist type energy. To kind of apply the concepts in that video and the concepts of astral projection to chaos magic is something that I'm going to go into in a little more detail once I've written the follow-up to the Chaotic Ghost. But in the meantime, I want to do a few more of these videos, even though the Chaotic Ghost is only 9 pages long. I want to go into a little more detail about the concepts in the Chaotic Ghost. Before I write the sequel to that. So thank you again for tuning in to The Chaotic Mind. This is the first in a series of videos about chaos magic. I hope to see you for the next one. I don't know when it's going to be, but it'll be at some point. Have a good night. Oh, you know what? I want to play a song before I go. Yeah, because the sound sounds like a little bit better. I want to play this song again because it's like awesome. I love it. Oh yeah, this one. Like I just heard this for the first time the other day. I love it when I hear songs that I haven't heard before. That are awesome. Anyways, thanks for joining me.
I've got these hands on you. This mouth will chew as well. Like butterflies inside you. Perfume what you sell. I know that I'm reaching that churning, burning heart. I see the sweat is beating from where I peel apart. So hypothetical, so hypothetical. Hypothetical. So you got the hands to reach out, step out from skin so cold. I've got the false to be blind. Let's see what you like most. I cannot break the fever, the pounding of your soul. My little love receiver, you make me lose control. Don't know what I'm gonna do. So hypothetical, so hypothetical. Hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. So hypothetical. Bitches.